Hello students, here I am going to teach you the subject Power Electronics and PLC. This subject is for the 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Diploma Engineering students. Okay, so here today the topic is Silicon Control Rectifier, that is SCR. So in this video we are learning about the construction, operation, VI characteristics and applications of SCR. SCR means the full form of SCR is Silicon Controlled Rectifier. So before we are going to the topic, let us start from the introduction part. Introduction about Silicon Controlled Rectifier. Okay. So, so the Silicon Control Rectifier, that is one power semiconductor device. So from where this type of power semiconductor devices are invented, we are studied from the introduction, from the starting part. Okay, so from the beginning in the Bell Laboratory, the silicon based semiconductor device called thyristor is fabricated first. Got it? In the Bell Laboratory, the silicon based semiconductor device called thyristor is first time fabricated, and then its various prototypes was introduced in 1957. Its various prototypes was introduced in the GC, introduced by the company name GC, which is placed in USA. Okay, so this company was introduced so many prototypes of the thyristor. The prototypes named the various prototypes means the various types of semiconductor devices. So what are the various types of silicon semiconductor devices introduced by the GEC? Those are named as thyristor. Those are named as triac, diac, silicon controlled switch, programmable unijunction transistor, that is short form is PUT, GTO, gate turn off thyristor, RCT, etc. So these all are the semiconductor devices which I have mentioned, that is triac, diac, silicon controlled switch, programmable unijunction transistor, PUT, that is and then GTO, gate turn off thyristor, RCT, all those belongs to the family of semiconductor devices which is named as thyristor. So here thyristor is not an individual semiconductor device, it belongs to a family, it is a family name. So thyristor is a family name, family of semiconductor devices. So what are these used for? The thyristor family semiconductor devices all are used for power control in DC and AC systems. So now got it? You understand what are the uses? What is the requirement of the semiconductor devices? So the semiconductor devices which are comes under the thyristor family, all these are used for power control in DC and AC system. So from thyristor family, the oldest member is the silicon control rectifier, which I mentioned here. We are particularly studied about silicon control rectifier in this video. Okay, so silicon control rectifier is the oldest member of thyristor family. So silicon control rectifier, what it means, why this device named as SCR, we will study in detail. Okay, so silicon control rectifier mainly belongs to the thyristor family, but at present the use of SCR is so vast. Okay, from the past years to the present time, the uses of SCR is so vast. So means SCR is used very commonly, very frequently. So by the time the word thyristor has become synonymous with SCR. So by the time from the past year to the present time, the thyristor has become synonymous with SCR. So what happens to this synonymous term? What happens when the thyristor has become synonymous with SCR? It looks like that now the term thyristor is becoming more common, more popular than the actual term SCR. Means in the power system, whenever we are going to use SCR in any circuit, then we called it as a thyristor. We named it as thyristor because the thyristor, by the time thyristor is act as a synonym of SCR. So wherever we are going to use SCR, we just called, or we just termed it as thyristor. So thyristor become more common, more regular term in the place of SCR. So whenever the term SCR and thyristor will be used in randomly, or whenever we are going to use the term SCR or thyristor randomly, that means the device is particularly SCR, but we called it as a thyristor. So I am giving one example. See, you have a class named as 5th Sem Electrical, and in your class there is one student named XYZ, but that student whose name is XYZ is everywhere he represent the class 5th Sem Electrical. So by the time when in every activity that student is represent the class 5th Sem Electrical, so whenever the student name is come, then randomly he called as the 5th Sem Electrical. That means that XYZ term is synonymous with the 5th Sem Electrical. Like this, SCR is a device which is used very frequently in every aspect, and the term thyristor is replaced by SCR. So SCR and thyristor are randomly used in every wherever the power, in every power circuit, and in every system, AC system, DC system, wherever there is used thyristor word, that means SCR. Wherever there is SCR word used, that means that also that is a SCR device. Understood? Now what you understood, that the thyristor is synonymous with SCR. So thyristor itself is a family name, but by the time when SCR is very commonly used in everywhere, then by the time SCR name is replaced by thyristor. So thyristor and SCR are synonymously used. Okay, so got it. So now come to the definition of SCR or definition of thyristor. So thyristor has the characteristics similar to thyratron tube, but from the construction viewpoint, thyristor belong to transistor family. Okay, so I will tell you in detail about the construction of the SCR. So how now you just know that the SCR is a PNPN 4-layer semiconductor device. So but this PNPN structure can be best visualized as consisting of the transistors PNP and NPN, which are interconnected to form regenerative feedback pair. So the SCR has PNPN structure, and it can be described in a best way as a combination of PNP and NPN transistor. So what you found, that it is similar, it belongs to transistor family from construction viewpoint, and it has the characteristics similar to the thyratron tube. So from where the thyristor word is derived, it derives from thyratron and transistor word. So we keep the capital letter from the thyratron, that is THYR, and we take the capital letter from transistor, what, those are ISTOR. If we combine these capital letters, then the thyristor term is derived. So from where thyristor term is derived? Thyristor term is derived by the combination of capital letters from thyratron and transistor, because thyristor has the characteristics similar to thyratron tube, and it belongs to transistor family from the construction point of view. Okay, so now you understand the basic introduction details, basic introduction part of thyristor. Where it was born, where it is invented, where it is modified, and what are the different types of thyristor family members, and how the thyristor and SCR are synonymous with each other, and how the thyristor term derived from thyratron and transistor. And so finally, thyristor is a solid state device like a transistor. Okay, thyristor is a solid state device like a transistor, and it has characteristics similar to that of thyratron tube. Got it? So these are all the basic introductory part of thyristor or SCR. Okay, now we understood. I will explain all these things in detail in after some time of this video. Okay, I just now telling you the basic things of all the points which I am covering in this video. Okay, so now come to the constructional feature, construction part. What are the construction parts I am including in this video? Okay, just a minute, I'm showing you. So what are the constructional part of this SCR? So from construction point of view, thyristor is a PN-PN structure, and it can be best visualized by the combination of two transistors, that is PNP and NPN. Okay, so all the combination of these two transistors, what are the phenomenon behind this, we will study in the two transistor analysis in the later part. Okay, so here in the construction part of SCR, what SCR, or you can say thyristor, you can randomly called SCR as thyristor or thyristor as SCR. So thyristor has 4 layer 3 junction PN-PN semiconductor switching device. 4 layer 3 junction PN-PN semiconductor switching device. So see this picture, see this figure here. This part is the schematic diagram, and this part is the constructional details. This part is the schematic diagram, and this part is the symbolic view. So what you see in the constructional details, see there is 4 layer PN. Okay, 4 layers are there. 4 layers, 3 junction, that is J1, J2, J3, 3 junction PN-PN semiconductor switching device. So here one P layer is outer P layer, then inner N layer, then inner P layer, then outer N layer. So the terminal connected to outer P. So here the terminal connected to the outer P region is called as anode, that is represented by A, and the terminal connected to the outer N region is called as cathode, that is denoted by K, and that terminal connected to the inner P region is called as gate, that is represented by G. Okay, so SCR is called as a thyristor, or thyristor is named as SCR. So what you understood from this part, that thyristor has 4 layer, that is PN, PN, one outer P layer, one inner P layer, one outer N layer, one inner N layer. So outer P layer, the terminal from outer P layer is anode, the terminal from outer N layer is cathode, the terminal from inner P layer is gate. So this is the schematic arrangement of SCR or thyristor. What you see from this arrangement, see PN, PN 4 layers, then the junction J1, J2, J3 formed, then the terminal anode, cathode, gate. So see, the gate terminal is always nearer to the cathode terminal. Okay. And here is one threaded portion in this part. This threaded portion is for framing the thyristor, or it is used to frame the thyristor on the board, or it has to put on the heat sink, it has to connect it with the heat sink with the help of nut. So this threaded stud is used for framing the SCR over the board or over the heat sink. Heat sink means what is the heat sink? Why it is used? Because power semiconductor device like SCRs, means this thyristor is a high power rated semiconductor device. So it can withstand high voltage, it can work with high current level, it can work with high power level. That's why there is also 3 junctions. So there is during the working there is huge amount of power losses are occurred. So that's why this SCR should mounted on the heat sink, and that heat sink will absorb all the heat dissipated from the junctions. Okay, so silicon is called as silicon control rectifier, means SCR is named as silicon control rectifier or SCR. And why it is named, or why the SCR is so called? Because in this case silicon is used as silicon material is used for its construction, and it operate as a rectifier, and it operate as a rectifier and it can be controlled. It operate as a rectifier means during on state it act as a low impedance, and during off state it act as a high impedance. Got it? That's why it is named as SCR. Why in the construction silicon material is used? Why silicon material is used? Because silicon material is low in cost as compared to germanium, and silicon is allowed to operate at higher temperature in all these power semiconductor device. So silicon is allowed to operate at high temperature in all the power semiconductor devices like power diode, thyristor, etc. So that's why silicon is used for its construction, and it operates as a rectifier, and it can be controlled like a rectifier. How? It can operate as a low resistance or low impedance in the forward conduction mode, and it can operate as a high resistance in the reverse direction. That means here the SCR or thyristor has 2 mode of operation. One is the forward conduction, another one is the reverse direction. or reverse mode. So in the forward conduction mode, it operate as a very low resistance, and during the reverse direction or reverse conduction mode, it operate as a very high resistance. Okay, so that's why SCR is so called, or it is named as silicon controlled rectifier. Okay, so what you understood from the construction view, I will tell you all these things in details in the blackboard form, chalk or whiteboard form. So now just you see the slides and just understand the glimpse of all about the SCR. Okay, so construction part is over, and this is the symbol. This is the symbolic representation of SCR or thyristor. Anode, cathode K, anode A, and gate G. Okay, this is also the symbolic representation of thyristor. You can use this or you can use this. You can use both. So next is the principle of operation of SCR. So what is the principle of operation of SCR? I will describe in a better way in whiteboard. You just now heard three terms, that is forward blocking state or off state, reverse blocking state or off state, and then forward conduction state or on state. So under the principle of operation of SCR, we will describe all three part. Okay, and the next part is this is the static anode cathode characteristics of SCR, or you can also call it as the VI characteristics of SCR. So I will describe you in a better way in whiteboard. So let's come to the description part, or I will describe you in the whiteboard. Okay, silicon controlled rectifier. In silicon control rectifier, under its construction part, it has 4 layers: P, N, P, N, and 3 junction J1, J2, J3. The terminal from outer P layer is anode, terminal from outer N layer is cathode, and terminal from inner P layer is gate. Okay, this is the schematic structure of SCR, and symbolic representation of SCR is like this. It is just similar to the diode. The extra part is this one. This represents anode, cathode, gate. Okay. So what you see, this part is the anode. It is from the outer P layer. This part is cathode. This is the terminal connected through to the outer N layer, and this terminal is gate, which is connected to the inner P layer, and the 3 junctions J1, J2, J3. And how it is best visualized by the connection of 2 transistors. Those are PNP and NPN. See, PNP, this part will form one transistor. Okay, and then NPN, and this part is form another transistor. Okay, so now you understood that it is a combination of two transistor family, that is PNP and that is NPN. So by combining these 2 transistors, we get thyristor, that is PN structure. Okay, so here the anode and cathode are connected to the main power circuit like this. This is the main power circuit, and the gate terminal carries a low gate current in the direction gate to cathode. Here is also one circuit, and the gate to cathode circuit, here low amount of gate current will flow from gate to cathode. Okay, so what is the you just understood about the construction part of the SCR, and one I just told you that here is also one threaded stud. This threaded stud is stud part is used for framing this SCR on the board or on the heat sink. For that purpose, this threaded stud is used. And how we connect this the threaded stud and how we connect this SCR with the heatsink, or how we mount this SCR on the board by using nut. Through the help of nut, we can here put the knot here, and it's like a threaded stud. So the nut will contact with this device, and it is connected tightly with the frame, or whatever the frame, it is connected tightly with the heat sink or with the frame. Okay, so so now let's come to the principle of operation of SCR. What are the principle of operation of SCR? What are the three modes I told you? Those are forward blocking mode, that is off state, reverse blocking mode, that is off state, and forward conduction mode, that is on state. So we will study one by one. Okay, for that I need to draw this diagram. Okay, this is the circuit, elementary circuit. Okay. So under the portion of the principle of operation of SCR, so let me draw one layer diagram. P N. This is anode, this is cathode, this is gate. Okay, so I told you in principle of operation of SCR, there is three mode of operation. That the first one is the forward blocking state, that is off state, then reverse blocking state, that is also off state, then forward conduction state, that is on state. So before going to the operation of the SCR, just see, this is the elementary circuit of SCR. Here this is one SCR or thyristor, and three terminals are anode, cathode and gate. So we apply external source through load to anode and cathode terminal, and one small source as compared to this Eg is small. So one smaller source is connected across G gate and cathode. So this will form another circuit. This is known as gate circuit. So when this switch is closed, small amount of current, gate current, will flow from gate to cathode. Okay. So this is the elementary circuit. So how the SCR will operate, we will study one by one. So the anode and cathode are connected to the main power circuit. Here the main power source is E, and the gate terminal carries a low level gate current in the direction gate to cathode. This is the direction. Okay, and this is the direction of anode current. Okay. So normally the gate terminal is provided at the P layer near the cathode. See, anode is from outer P layer, cathode is from outer N layer, and gate is from inner P layer. So normally the gate terminal is provided at the P layer nearer to the cathode. This P layer nearer to the cathode, or you can call as the inner P layer. So from inner P layer, gate terminal is connected. So this part is the cathode gate circuit, and this part is the main circuit. So what happened? So when the P layer is made positive, this P layer means when anode is made positive with respect to N layer, that is cathode. So when P layer is positive with respect to the end N layer, and N layer is this, the two outer junctions. These are the three junctions, J1, J2, J3. Okay. So when outer P layer or end P layer is made positive with respect to end N layer, the two outer junctions J1 and J3, these two, the two outer junctions are forward biased. Forward biased. How forward biased? Positive connected to P, negative connected to N. So obviously these junction and these junctions will become forward bias. So and the middle junction J2 becomes reverse bias. This junction becomes reverse bias. Okay. Thus the junction J2 become reverse bias, and junction J1 and J3 become forward bias. So though J2 is now become reverse bias. So J2 is due to the presence of depletion layer, it will not allow any current flow through this device. Okay, reverse bias means there is the presence of depletion layer. That's why it will not allow any kind of current flow through the device. Only some leakage current, that is very small. You can call it as it is very negligible or very small in magnitude. So only leakage current will flow through the device due to the drift of the mobile charges. So in this depletion layer or this N region or P region, there is some drift in between the mobile charges. Okay. So due to this, only small amount of leakage current will flow, and this current is very small. That's why it is insufficient to make the device conduct. Okay. So this small amount of leakage current will not able to turn on the device. The depletion layer mostly of immobile charges do not constitute any flow of current. So here in the depletion layer, around this depletion layer means around this junction, there is formation of depletion layer, and depletion layer consists of mostly immobile charges. So these immobile charges will not constitute any kind of flow of current. Okay. So SCR under the forward bias condition does not conduct. In this condition, SCR does not conduct. So this mode of operation is called as forward blocking state or off state of the device. Understood clearly? The next is when the end N layer, now I change this negative and positive. So when and n layer is made positive with respect to end p layer. That means end n layer means cathode is positive with respect to end p layer, that means anode is negative. So when cathode is positive with respect to anode, the middle junction J2 becomes forward bias. How? See, if plus connected to N and minus connected to P, so this junction is reverse bias and this junction is also reverse bias, but the middle junction is forward bias. Okay. So what happened, we will see. So when there is two outer junctions J1 and J3 becomes reverse bias, the junction J1 and J3 do not allow any current flow through this device. So this is reverse bias, this is reverse bias, so it will not allow any kind of flow of current. Okay, so only very small amount of leakage current may flow because of the drift of charges. Obviously this is reverse bias and this is reverse bias, but there is some kind of mobile charges are there, small quantity of mobile charges are there, and the drift between those mobile charges, there is some leakage current will flow from anode to cathode, will flow through this device. Okay, so the leakage current is again very small, very negligible amount. It is in the measure of milliampere. So this leakage current is again insufficient to make the device conduct. So this mode of operation is known as reverse blocking state or off state. Okay, here J1 is reverse bias, J3 is reverse bias and J2 is forward bias. So this is the reverse blocking state or off state. So the first state I discussed in before this is the forward blocking state or off state, and this is the reverse blocking state or off state. And the third operating mode is the forward conduction mode or on state. What is that? See, the width of depletion layer at the junction J2. The width of depletion layer at the junction J2 decreases with the increase in anode to cathode voltage. See, in the previous section, in the previous mode of operation, what happened? PN. This is positive anode and cathode negative, and this is gate. So this is J1, J2, J3. This is forward bias. This is reverse bias. This is forward bias. So what happens in this case? See, here there is formation of the depletion layer, because this part is the reverse bias part. Okay, this junction is the reverse bias junction. So the width of depletion layer at the junction J2 decreases with increase in anode to cathode voltage. Anode to cathode voltage means this voltage. So if we increase this voltage, the width of depletion layer will decrease. So if I increase, suppose a anode to cathode voltage, that is VAK, that is let it be E. If I increase this voltage, the width of depletion layer at the junction J2 decreases. Okay, so if the voltage between the anode to cathode is kept on increasing, a stage comes when the depletion layer J2 vanishes. Okay, so why the width of depletion layer decreases when this anode to cathode voltage increases? Because the width of depletion layer is inversely proportional to this voltage. So when I increase this voltage, the width of depletion layer decreases. So at one moment or at one stage, what happens? At one level of voltage, we will increase this A to K voltage across anode to cathode. So by consecutively increasing the anode to cathode voltage, one stage reached where the one stage reached where the depletion layer at junction J2 vanished, and that voltage is the forward breakover voltage. That voltage is forward breakover voltage VBO. So at this voltage level, J2 depletion layer at J2 vanishes, and now the current conduction is possible through this device, or current flowing is possible from anode to cathode. Okay, and this condition also occur in reverse blocking mode. How? So when the reverse voltage, obviously if in this case A is positive, K is negative, and in this case this is the forward blocking state and this is reverse blocking state. So what is the difference between these two states? Here anode is positive with respect to cathode, here cathode is positive with respect to anode. So what it means? That means we apply here reverse voltage, negative voltage. Okay, so again when the reverse voltage across anode and cathode increases to a certain level, one stage comes where the depletion layer at junction J1 and J3 will minimized, or it reduces. The depletion layer at junction J1 and J3 reduces, and there is also one breakdown occur, and that breakdown is known as avalanche breakdown. Okay, and the voltage at which the avalanche breakdown occur is the forward breakover, like here this is the forward breakover voltage, it is reverse breakdown voltage VBR, reverse breakdown voltage. So at the label reverse breakdown voltage, depletion layer at J1 and J3 vanishes, and then conduction possible between anode to cathode in case of reverse bias. In case of reverse direction, current conduction is possible. So this breakdown is known as avalanche breakdown, and the voltage is the reverse breakdown voltage. But we should avoid to conduct the device beyond this voltage, because beyond this voltage current through the device rises suddenly or rapidly, drastically rises, and voltage is also high at that level, so huge amount of power loss occur, and due to this the device may get damaged or destroyed. That's why we should avoid to operate the device beyond this voltage, reverse voltage or reverse breakdown voltage level. Okay, so this is your reverse blocking state, and one thing is the and the third part is the forward conduction mode. What is that forward conduction mode? I will explain you. See which one is the forward conduction mode. So initially when A is positive and K is negative, and this is forward bias, this is reverse bias, this is forward bias, and current will not flow from anode to cathode. This mode of operation, or this stage is known as forward blocking state or off state. But when we gradually increases the voltage across anode to cathode, one voltage level reached, that is forward breakover voltage, and at this level the depletion layer around junction J2 will vanish. Okay, and the device and the current starts conduct from anode to cathode, and the device is in on state now. Okay, and this state is known as conducting state, forward conduction state or on state. Okay, how? Because J1 and J3 are already in forward bias, so when this depletion layer is reduced, so only this part is the reason where the current is blocked. So if this part is sorted out, or if the width of this layer is reduces, depletion layer is reduced, then the current flow through this J2 junction, and J1 and J3 already in forward bias, so overall current will flow from anode to cathode easily. In this state, this is the forward conduction state or on state. So due to the flow of this forward current, the device starts conducting, and it is said to be in forward conduction state or on state. So three states are there, that is forward, blocking or off state, and then 2 is reverse blocking or off state, and 3 is forward conduction state or on state. So these three are the three mode of operation of thyristor. Okay, so now you clearly understood the principle of operation of thyristor. So in the next part we will study about the static characteristics or VI characteristics of thyristor. Okay.